Like and peace be upon you. I want to do a video on religion. Brett, I know you've had a recent blow up of because you're frustrated and angry, and I get you. I know exactly where you're at. I went through that almost word for word in some cases 5-6 years ago. Struggling. Is there a God? I believe there's a God. My first prayer on my journey for spiritualism, going from an atheist, agnostic type background, was, if you are up there, please help me, please guide me. I know exactly how you feel, because you just want, why is it that the world will not love each other? Why are we doing these things? What is going on? And it's taken me a long time. Even after being a Muslim for a couple of years, it took me a while to make a connection, and that connection is that there is only one God, and He determines what is right and what is wrong. I used to have these arguments and discussions all the time with my Muslim friend when I was first really getting to the point where I was getting close to accepting Islam. Because my expressions and my terms were always, well, I think, and in my opinion. And he kept correcting me and saying, you know what, you have the right to think and have your opinion, but in regards to practicing Islam, it's not about what I think and what my opinion is. It is, what did God say? How did God tell us to behave? So I understand your frustration, because if you can't connect with that concept that there is only one God and He alone can determine our actions, how we behave with everything around us, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be like, well, why can't you do this? And it's not an answer that people can understand unless you really dive into it and practice the faith. And the simple answer is, why don't I eat pork? Because God said so. Why don't I drink alcohol? Because God said so. And then afterwards, we as human beings, it's part of our nature and our makeup, we try to rationalize this thing. Well, you see, pork is bad because it has worms and it spreads disease, and alcohol causes people to get drunk and commit violent crimes, and it causes, liver disease, and you know what I mean? So we try to rationalize all these things, but it's the simple answer is God says don't do this, so we don't do it. And the reason being is that it's to protect us. It's so that we don't have to worry about certain things, and it took me a long time to understand that concept. And like I said, unless you're immersed in it, it's not easy to understand. Another concept I struggled with was placing my belief in God above even my family. And people say, well, how can you love God? It doesn't make any sense. God says to love your family. But for me, that's when things really started to change for me, and I really started to notice the blessings. When I put my belief in God and the example of the prophet that He sent, and I put them above my family, because what happened when I accepted that was that they were more important than my family. It allowed me to treat my family better, because now I had this rule book and code of conduct that I would use as the example of the prophet. That's what he was sent for, to follow him, love him, and he will teach you how to be a good husband, and he will teach you how to be a good father and a good neighbor and a good son. All of these things come from my belief in God, and without that, I struggled. Alcohol was a huge part of my life, and I got into a lot of trouble. I mean, a quick little example is I got arrested 6 times in 3 months when I first started drinking as a teenager. Some people aren't as crazy, but I just was very careless, and alcohol was a big factor. As soon as I stopped drinking, I woke up and started being at least half normal. So, I think that you just need to not sweat it so much, take a break, relax. I hope you come back, and I think you have really good videos. I've only recently discovered your channel, and it's kind of too bad that you this is my way of introducing myself to you, that in this kind of circumstance. But like I said, I feel your pain, and the biggest part for me was frustration and anger out of not knowing and not understanding. And I still struggle on a daily basis, and I hope to have a video about my reversion story, and to teach others because Islam is a beautiful thing, and it can totally change your life if you approach it from the correct direction. It's very important for us to do correct dawah to Muslims as well as non-Muslims. Our invitation to our faith is not applied just to you as a non-Muslim. So we are constantly having to remind ourselves, how are we supposed to behave, because we lose our way as well, and that might be part of your frustration as well. You're getting mixed messages. You're getting stuff from all over the place, and it's up to you to take that information, and you have to determine, based on the scriptures and the teachings, what is correct and what is not. And no one can tell you otherwise. It's our job to give you that information, and at the end you're going to be accountable for your actions, just like we all will. So I hope that you got not gone too long, and I hope things get easier for you. So assalamu alaikum.